Well, part one, we had a Husqvarna with a locked up engine. That's this one. The rod had seized to the crankshaft, so we asked you, the viewers, did we replace that engine or rebuild it? So we decided we're going to do it all. We put a new engine on this in part two and fixed that crankshaft. This video, we're going to do what the rest of the viewers said. We're going to rebuild this engine. And guess what else I got? I got this piece of scrap metal a customer brought and says, give it to your scrap guy. This one's got a thrown rod. We're going to build that engine, see if it'll fit on here. This cylinder wall is still actually in pretty good shape. You can see a little bit of surface rust there, but it's been sitting a couple weeks. Let's get it honed out. Welcome back to Really Small Engines. I'm T-Bone. This is your Get to the Point channel. This is for a car, but it'll work. Shouldn't take a whole lot. Now, the longest part of this job is cleaning all these gaskets off. So the first thing I do is go around and get most of this off with a razor blade. Once I get it about there, I grab this little bad boy. And people go say, oh, you're going to gouge your aluminum. The key is don't let it sit in one spot. Keep it moving. Well, it ain't going to put itself together, folks. A little Earl up here. A little Earl in here. All righty. Rubbed all around. Put it up in here. And let's slide her in. Just like that. Now I'm going to turn this so this journal is down here, so when we slip the rod in, we'll be able to get our bolts over here. So we got a new Briggs piston and rings. Got a new rod. Now, I'm not going to show you the part numbers, or if you see them, fine. But get your valve cover, and you want to look right up on the top, and you'll see the model, type, and code. Go to like Parts Tree or somewhere like that. Jack Small Engines, wherever. I like Parts Tree the best. Just type in your model number, a hyphen, the type 0003-G1 or hyphen G1, and hit enter, and it'll pull your engine up for you. All right, so in these pig mats, I'll try to remember, put you a link to those right down in the description. They're pretty handy to have. Brand new rod and new piston. Got some destructions. You want to save those, I'll show you. Brand new shiny piston. And more pieces, parts. Those will be the little snap rings for the wrist pin. And there's your wrist pin. And then we got, well, if I can get it out of the box, piston rings. So just a little deal here about the piston. See that little groove right there? There's not one on this side. Got our grooves pointing the same way. You see how this rod is? Means it's going that way. Now on top of the piston, you're going to notice there's an arrow. Basically, when it gets installed in the engine, that arrow is going up. Our little ring, because the other side's got to stop. Let's do a little oil, little oil, little oil. Run that around in there with your finger. And then we're going to go just like this. Drop this bad boy in. Just like that. And now let's get our snap ring in. And thank God it's pink in case I fling it across the shop. Almost got it. Let me get a little screwdriver. All right, now that it's up there, I'm keeping my thumb here in case it goes ping. There she goes. Be sure that's snapped in there good. There we go. All right, our ring set. This is where the little note they send you comes in handy. Now you've got compression ring, an oil scraper ring, and an oil carrier ring. Y'all call them what you want. You're going to notice that this one's got 2 paint stripes. This one has 1. Now, when this piston is up like this, what you want is the paint rings to the right of the groove, not that way. Okay, that's to the left. We want them to the right. You understand what I'm saying? You know, that way. But first, what we need to do, we want to put this little dude in first. Just slip that around in there like that. And then, you know, you'll hear people talk about doing it. If I can get it apart, you'll hear people talk about clocking your rings. And I'll show you what that means in just a minute. Let's get this bad boy in. Oh, go to the bottom. I don't want it on the top. Now I got it on the doggone top slot. How am I going to get that out? With my fat fingers. Come on. There we go. It's a little fiddly with big old fat fingers, you know. There it went back. It wants to go in the top groove. Moses sandals. Come out of there, booger head. All right, let's try this again. I tell you what, I'm going to the daggum bottom. Let's do it that way. It don't matter how you get it in there, just get it in there. And I want to get it below that little wavy ring. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Now we're below the wavy ring. Now let's see if I can get this one on top of the wavy ring. Is that even possible? Just work it around. Come on, don't you flip up there on the other hole. There we go. Nice. Now, just so y'all know, you can see the 2 paint marks. It goes in your middle groove, and the single paint mark goes to the right. And it tells you on there to put your paint marks to the right. Okay, so let's get another ring on. That's a single paint mark. And I'm going to give you all a close-up on that oil ring when I get it put together here. And they make a little tool. It's called a ring spreader or something or another. I don't have one, but usually you don't have much of a difficulty getting them on. And I'm still going to tell you about clocking the rings, or you call it whatever you want to. Okay, you see I got a groove between the ring there and a groove between the ring there. You I don't like to put them right over the wrist pin. I don't know that that matters, but you want your grooves in different spots, okay? Let me give you a little closer. I'm going to turn it back around so you can see those paint marks and know exactly what I'm talking about. So you can see the split in the ring. The 2 paint marks are to the right. Let's see if I can push this other one up where you can see the little split, and the paint marks are to the right. And this carrier, you see the little slick, the little ring is on the bottom, the wavy in the middle, and another little ring on top. That's all it is to it. All right, let's see if I can clock these bad boys around in different spots here. That's perfect. All we're going to do now is oil it up and put it in the hole. All right, this is actually an automotive piston ring compressor, believe it or not. And I got this bad boy all oiled up. Oh, that's too small. Make it more bigger. And just slip the piston up in there like so. Tighten her down. All right, let's buzz this off. Whoop, wrong way. Now on this rod cap, keep in mind, you'll see one side is smooth, one side is grooved. It won't go but one way. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little oil right there and a little oil down in here on the crank. And let's put a little oil in the cylinder. Just kind of wipe some around. You can use just whatever you got. It don't matter. This ain't NASCAR. All right, let's see if we can get this down in here. Just like that. Now, these rings seated right. Now, the rod is in between. All right, a whack-a-rooney. There she is. All right, now that we got that done, see, I'm up, am I right? Oh, there she, see it seat in to the rod. And I know it's gonna be very difficult for y'all to see with my hands in the way, because there ain't much room. We got all this oiled up. Remember, I tell you to double check the direction you put this rod cap on. And trying to stay out of y'all's way, but I mean, working with it. And just run this up. And stick your bottom one in. And do the same thing. This is hitting the bottom, so, and it is torqued, but what I'm doing, and this is gonna take a while, I just found me an Allen wrench that'll fit it, and of course I don't want to tighten down with this Allen wrench and mess up my bolts. But in about 2 hours, I'll have this bolt ran up to where we can actually torque them down. 2 hours later, still going like an Energizer bunny. I'm gonna get it, y'all watch. All right, these are just snug with an Allen wrench on the Torx. Now I'm gonna turn this crank to get me a little more room. Hopefully, maybe. And this thing, basically, they tell you whatever, 150 inch-pounds or something. I'm just gonna go about 12, 15 in there. It'll be fine. There's 15 and on. All right, let's see if it'll fit. Main thing is that they're even and you don't wring them off. Crap, that ain't gonna fit. Let's move it some more. I don't know how I'm gonna do the bottom one. Does anybody know? All right. Think. Well, I can't get by this right here. So I'm going back up, back around like this. Let's go this way. Now we can get in there. How about that? Now let's do this other side. Get in the bolt. Boing. All right, let's go ahead and get our lifters tappets. There's always some, y'all call them whatever you want. I always say this every time I do one of these engines. See, I'm already sprung a leak. A little oil to seal it up. Be all right. A little petroleum. Now you're going to see 3 holes right down here. You don't want to use the middle one. And I'm doing this with needle nose because y'all can't see past my fat fingers. All right, slip those guys in. Now, let's talk about the camshaft. You get one that won't start. You think you got a bad battery. You got a bad starter. The problem is probably that, or you don't have your valves adjusted. When this engine is at idle, is not running, there's a little bump right here on that lobe that cracks your valve to relieve compression. When the engine starts running, centrifugal force pushes us out And with it pushed out, notice it's flat now, there's no bump. But what always breaks is that little pin and this little daggum spring in here. I wish they'd come up with a better design. So now what we want to do, look on your crankshaft gear, wherever it might be. Right there's a little dot. Okay, if you can see that little dot right in front of my finger. And what you want to go ahead and do is align it up to that hole right there. That's where the camshaft's going in. So what we're going to do, let's turn and just kind of get it about there. It just helps when you go to drop the cam in. See, I'm pretty close right there. Now let's find our dot on our camshaft. Probably help. Let's wipe it off. Right there. Big old dot. Let's put a little oil on everything. If you're scared to get dirty, put some gloves on. We'll get all that in a minute. Now, what we're going to do, now I can't see my dot for the oil, or y'all can't see it. And we're just going to line our camshaft up. And that ain't right. Is that right? Look at there. Dot to dot. All right, let's put our governor in. Basically, and do check all these gears that they look right, and this works nice and smooth, which it does. And just stick it in there, and there is no way to clock this. It doesn't matter, just get it in there, okay? Now I've got the carburetor hanging off, so we'll just kind of mush him right there. Just like that. Well, somebody's going to be fussing. T-Bone, you didn't wash all this stuff up. Well, there's a reason for that. A couple, actually. We're going to talk about the seal here in a second. Number one, this is going on a junk machine. Number two, you might be working in your backyard. It don't matter if the outside's dirty. What counts is everything on the inside, getting all that clean. And yeah, I've got a 40-gallon vat over there. I can go wash this, make it look brand new. But it's going to go on that scrap metal zero turn over there. I got to show y'all something. When you go put the seal back in, you don't want to knock it in too far and block that hole off, because that is your oil to keep all this lubricated. This is mainly to show you that it doesn't matter. I mean, you can, anybody can do this in their backyard with very few tools. Don't need anything fancy. I got an old socket here I'm going to use to pop this in. Is that right? Is it even? Yep. And I didn't block that little hole off. So let's get a little oil on this. So, again, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this mower. If I go to get rid of it, I'll probably, if it runs, we don't even know yet. We're going to find out. I mean, we'll see. Don't forget, remember that was loose. Remember the first video, part 1? But yeah, if somebody gets this mower or I decide to sell it, I'll probably go just ask a couple $100 or something just to get my money back out of it. Say, hey, no warranty. Here it is. You know, somebody might be in need of a mower and whatnot. Oh, I know something else we got to do. Go ahead and pull this oil pump cover off. I'll tell you why. Pop this oil pump cover off and your oil pump out. And the reason you want this out is because when you go to put this cover on, come out of there. There we go. When you go to put this cover on, your oil pump shaft is laying somewhere around here. When you go, if you have that all together in your oil pump shaft, it's going to be really difficult to line up to the cam. So just leave that out. Let's rinse that out right quick. And then we'll slide it on and then it'll go on smooth. Because that I'll have to line up in here. Now I've already laid our gasket on. No rocket science there. Now being careful when you put this on, you don't want to roll this seal. Now what I mean by rolling the seal, you're putting this case back on, and you slide this down on here, this seal will tend to roll like this, okay? And what will happen, there's a little tiny spring in here, and what will happen, when you go to push it on, it'll roll that seal, and there it goes. That little spring will pop out, and it will leak like crazy. So be very careful of that. See there? And see how, and you'll have to pull that seal back out to make this happen. All right then, so let's slide this down on here. We need some more oil. Just squirt oil everywhere, it don't matter. And let's slide this cover back down on here. And now just settled in right about there. All right, now it's resting on that seal. Now I'm gonna take a little screwdriver and just kind of work this thing around a little bit. And as you work it, just make sure you don't roll that seal. Give it a little bappy bap. Now I'm just taking this screwdriver real gently around there. This is another reason you don't oil pump in right now, because you don't, trying to do this seal and line that up, you're gonna have one heck of a time getting all that right. Bumpy bump. Just keep playing with it here. Fish it in. Take your time with it. Because if that spring pops out, you go pull the seal out. You may can get it back in there, but all I can tell you, good luck. Come on. Don't roll on me, baby. Don't roll. Just work it all the way around. Ha ha! All right, let's just set all our bolts back in. The head bolts and those case bolts look almost identical, except for, you see the wider deal on there, and this one's narrower. The washer looking deal that's made onto the bolt, the wide ones go in your cover. The other ones are your head bolt. Now, just run them down. Now somebody's going to say you need to torque these. Well, you can if you want to. Go in a cross kind of pattern. Down, bow, 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 something. Pick a pattern. Just get them even all the way down. If you want to be technical, go ahead and look up the specs and torque them down with a torque wrench. All right, so let's see about our oil pump shaft. And the thing was, when I said take it out, like I said, you're going to put this cover on, and trying to line the cam up and everything, get it to work right, it just don't go together very easy. So, put a little oil on here. Slip this together. And I know my hands are in your way. Just slip that in. And then this will get a little fiddly here sometimes. But spin it around. Boop. There we go. Now, our O-ring. And let's wipe off our hands a little here and get the cover. Pop that bad boy on. All right. 3 screws. Too easy. Man, I got to show y'all something. Oh my goodness. What? Hang on a minute. I got to take y'all outside. Y'all don't want to miss. Y'all don't want to miss this. Hold on. Y'all check this out. A neighbor called me and said, "Hey, T-Bone, you want a free golf cart?" I said, "Sure." This thing is rough too, buddy. Electric golf cart. So on our other channel, T-Bone After Hours, we're going to see if we can get this thing going. Make sure you're subscribed to T-Bone After Hours. I'll put a link in the description. All right, let's get this head gasket on. And our head. Just like that. And drop the bolts in. And we'll start them with my fingers. Now let's run them down. All right, let's torque them down. Look up the specs for your engine. I'm just going to do a little bit at a time on these and work my way around. All right, if y'all remember me taking this apart, remember these little caps that I tell you about? Let's go ahead and put a little dab of oil up here. Put these caps back on our valve stems. Tip Arunis. Exhaust is going to go on your exhaust valve, which is steel. Your aluminum goes to the intake, or you can run 2 steel ones. You have to look down inside to make sure you get it on top of the lifter. All right, let's get this bad boy back over here. I have to back off of these a little bit. Oh, that's tight. Why is it tight? Did I not loosen it? All right, back that off. And set that up there. Just ease it down. This one the same way. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even take them off because we just popped the head off and let everything fall when it went. Now, right now, we already know we're on a compression stroke because of when we put the cam in. And a little quick deal about your valve settings. I set a loose 4 on the exhaust and a tight 4 on the intake. And that allows your compression release to work. Loose 4, and I'm going to double check that. Give me 1 second. Nice drag. Let's see how we're feeling here. So you got a little drag there, a little loose there. Let's see where we're at. Long as, I think 6 is the actual spec on it. Let's see what that is. It's 6. Yeah, that's too loose. So let's bump it down. Where's my 4? And there, as long as we, let's see, there's a 5 and a 6. Where's 6? That's got a drag. I want that a little bit tighter. Oh yeah, that's more better. Now, most of the time when I'm putting these valve covers on, I'll use black RTV, but I want to get this video out for you guys today, so we're going to use a gasket today. Either one's really fine. If I use that RTV, I like it to sit overnight. All right, let's run these bad boys in. And we are getting really close to firing this bad boy up. All right. All right, let's slide our intake back up here. And there's a breather hose down here. Don't forget about that. Just hooks up on the back there. Now, I'm hopefully from all along as this thing been sitting here at the shop now for quite a while, like almost 8 months or so. And I don't know what kind of bad gas is in this carburetor. We're going to find out if she's going to run. Now, while I'm standing there looking right at it, let's go ahead and get this oil filter on. Roger. Dipstick installed. Just like that. And these wires will hook right there. All right, let's get our flywheel back on. And the keyway slid down. Let's do it this way. Like that. Come on, get in there. Come on. Perfect. All right, let's get this on, down in place. Get this bad boy up there, just like that. Get our bolt started and wouldn't. Now, for those of you who are very observant, yes, there's another flywheel laying up here. The reason is, flywheel for this engine, magnets come off, and I don't have time to glue them back on, so I had another used one in the back, so we popped a different flywheel on it. Let's go ahead and put our little bracket on and put the spark plug back in, and I'm going to probably try to daggone same old spark plug. I'm going to save as much money on this old junker as I can, so you know what I mean? That's the original spark plug. Ooh, I done sprung a leak too. That's normal. So the same engine I stole the flywheel off of, I went and stole the muffler off of it too. Because I haven't got that, I don't have that zero turn in here yet. So we're gonna do this and fire it up like this first. All right, we're getting some oil in it now. All right, before I pop this engine cover on, all we're gonna need to do is put power to the solenoid and the carburetor and have us a kill wire right here. We need to be able to kill it. So if you look over on the solenoid and follow that wire over, it is the gray wire on the harness. We'll have to put 12 volts to that. And then this black wire, when it's running, we want to be able to cut it off. So I'm going to have to hook me a jumper, and that way I can just ground it and kill the engine. And the other thing I'm going to go ahead and do is we're just going to take, and I'm going to get a syringe, put some doggone fuel right there in the carburetor bowl. I bet she'll run like that. Great. That's just grand. The cover won't work with that muffler. Dang it. Sure it will. Turn the muffler over. Perfect. So I just took me some little alligator jumpers here. I got a red one that's going to go to hot for the solenoid, and the white one is going to be my kill that I can just ground it to the block somewhere. Oh yeah, this is brilliant. I figured it won't have to fall as far. Oops. Oh, that'll be perfect. Nope, I ain't never done it this way before. Let's see if we get a little bit of gas in this thing. Here we go. This is crazy. Where can I ground it? That looks like a good spot. Now, let's hook up a little juice to the positive over here. I'll just go right there. Now, and I can hear the solenoid just kick on. And in theory, I can just jerk this cable here off. That'll lose the power, to the carburetor, so it should shut back off. Let's see if we can tear something up. Hold on, y'all. Come on, baby. Might have to choke her. Hold on. Where's the choke? All right, here we go. Y'all ready? It runs. All right. Let's try it again. Hear the solenoid. All right, let's see if she's gonna fire up. I'm trying to stay out of the way of the exhaust pointing right at me. Yeah, let's put it on a roll cart to start it, right? Look at there. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now when I unplugged the ground, what that did is it made that solenoid shut off. Boy, I tell you, that was fun, wasn't it? Wibble wobble. Hey, we're going to see if that thing will work on that zero turn out there. I want to tell you, we're going to do that in another episode. Thanks for tuning in to Rayleigh's Small Engines. I'm T-Bone. This is your Get to the Point channel. Please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. How many comments can we get down below, y'all? Can we get a lot? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see you next time. I'm going to try that again. La crazy.